I was lying in bed, crying, to be honest. And I told my wife, babe, I'm just going to send the money back, right? Send them back, and here it is. We can show the whole world that there is a demand for fair electronics. We made our point.
So, we've been hearing many interesting stories about how different brands got their start. Some were born in a garage and are now making millions. Some kicked off with just one guy and today have teams in the thousands. Some didn't even have a single penny to begin with but still became leaders in their field. But today, we've got something a little different to talk about. This is Fairphone. And what makes it special isn't just the phone itself, it's the story behind it. So, let's know a bit more about it. Well, the story didn't start like most tech companies. It didn't begin with a fancy pitch deck or a sleek prototype. It actually began as a campaign. Back in 2010, a Dutch designer and social entrepreneur Bas van Abel, along with Tessa Wernink and Michael Ballister, launched an awareness project in Amsterdam to shine a light on the darker side of the electronics industry. Their focus was on conflict minerals, materials like tantalum and cobalt that were often sourced from war-torn areas like the Democratic Republic of Congo, where mining practices led to severe environmental harm and the exploitation of workers. Over the next 2.5 years, their campaign sparked important conversations around the need for fairer electronics, and it got people thinking, what if there was a phone that actually tried to do things the right way? That thought became the foundation for a much bigger leap. In January 2013, without any prior experience in running a company or building phones, Bas decided to turn the movement into a social enterprise. And just like that, Fairphone was born, not just as a company, but as a mission-driven project to prove that smartphones could be made differently. The name said it all, Fairphone, a phone that aimed to be fair to both people and the planet. And each of the founders brought something unique to the table. Bas led the charge with a designer's mindset and bold vision. Tessa played a key role in shaping the brand's story and community, while Michael used his experience in product design to help shape what would become Fairphone's signature modular structure. And even though Bas stepped down as CEO in 2018 to let the company move into its next phase of growth, the original spirit he and his co-founders brought to life still runs through everything Fairphone does today. However, this Dutch responsible electronics brand has taken a much steadier path, unlike some startups that shoot up overnight. It hasn't been about explosive sales or flashy launches. Back in 2013, when the company was just starting, they didn't go to big investors right away. Instead, they turned to the people. Through a crowdfunding campaign for their very first device, they set a modest target of 5,000 pre-orders. But what happened next surprised even them. They ended up raising enough to manufacture 25,000 units. That moment didn't just get them into the market, it proved there was real demand out there for ethical electronics, and it helped them build a strong, community-driven foundation from the very start. As the years rolled on, Fairphone continued to raise funds in ways that matched their values. Between 2013 and 2017, they pulled together roughly $40.7 million through a mix of debt, equity, and crowdfunding. Then came 2017, when they hit a major milestone by securing a proper Series A funding round. They got the support from over 1,000 individual backers and impact-focused investors like PYMWYMIC. This gave them the financial boost needed to start scaling up production and getting more organized as a business. Fast forward to 2023, and Fairphone received one of its biggest pushes yet, a €49 million growth capital investment. This round brought together a group of impact-driven investors, including Invest NL, ABN AMRO Sustainable Impact Fund, and Quadia's Regenero Impact Fund. The goal of this funding wasn't just about growing numbers, it was about expanding the brand, developing new products, and continuing to improve their already transparent and ethical supply chain. So, while Fairphone hasn't sold in the hundreds of millions like Apple or Samsung, what they've achieved is still pretty remarkable. By 2023, they had sold over 400,000 devices. Their growth hasn't just been about selling phones, it's been about pushing the industry forward, inspiring consumers to think differently, and aligning with a broader movement in Europe towards circular economies and the right to repair. So, if we talk about the product lineup, Fairphone isn't like most brands. Their product story isn't about who's got the latest tech, it's about who's making it right. From the beginning, Fairphone's focus has been on building phones that last longer, are easier to fix, and are made with respect for both people and the planet. And if you take a look at their journey through the years, you'll see just how seriously they've stuck to that mission. It all started back in December 2013 with the Fairphone 1. It wasn't packed with crazy specs, but that wasn't the point. This simple dual SIM phone with a 4.3-inch screen and an 8-megapixel camera came with something far more important. It was Fairphone's first step into the world of ethical tech. And with 25,000 units sold through crowdfunding, it was clear that people were ready for something different. Then came the Fairphone 2 in 2015, and this one really pushed the envelope. It introduced something most tech companies still struggle with, a fully modular design. This meant users could easily swap out the screen, battery, camera, or other parts without needing a technician or tossing out the whole phone. That approach earned it a perfect 10 on 10 repairability score from a prominent mobile fixer. Plus, Fairphone started using Fairtrade Gold in the supply chain, a major ethical leap forward. In 2019, Fairphone kept that momentum going with the Fairphone 3, and followed it up just a year later with the Fairphone 3 Plus. The original came with a 5.65-inch Full HD Plus display, a 12-megapixel camera, and the same modular build that users had started to love. Then the 3 Plus stepped things up with a better 48-megapixel main camera and a more sustainable frame made with 40% recycled plastic. After the release of these two models, Fairphone sold over 100,000 units. The Fairphone 4, launched in 2021, brought a noticeable step forward. It entered the 5G space with a Snapdragon 750G processor, dual 48-megapixel cameras, and an even more robust 3,905 mAh replaceable battery. But beyond the tech, it introduced e-waste neutrality. Fairphone promised to recycle one phone for every one sold. After that, Fairphone 5 came into the scene. It was announced in August 2023. It features a vibrant 6.46-inch OLED screen, a powerful Qualcomm QCM6490 chip, and a trio of 50-megapixel cameras that cover everything from regular shots to ultra-wide to selfies. It's also got more RAM and storage, and an IP55 rating for better protection. Almost every prominent reviewer started talking about the phone. And Fairphone has made a name among the big names of industry, not by imitating them, but by redefining what success in tech should look like. Apart from the smartphones, Fairphone has some other accessories too, like the Fairbuds and Fairbuds XL. Fairphone runs its business in a way that's very different from most tech companies. Instead of chasing big profits, they focus on doing what's right. Fairphone uses conflict-free and fair trade materials like gold, cobalt, tin, and tantalum. They've been using Fairtrade Gold since the Fairphone 2 and support better mining conditions, especially in places like the Democratic Republic of Congo. Their phones are built to last, with parts you can easily repair or replace yourself. This helps cut down on e-waste. They've shown that keeping a phone for 2 more years can reduce CO2 emissions by 30%. Also, they openly shares where their parts come from. This honesty builds trust and encourages other companies to do better too. Though they are doing their business in a different way, they're earning enough to be going smoothly. Most of their phones are sold through their website, with clear pricing that reflects ethical production. And they also work with selected stores like Currys in the UK. So, all that selling and earning numbers might sound small in the grand smartphone race, but for a company that's built wholly on sustainability, fair labor, and conscious design, it's a clear sign that change is possible. In a world that's waking up to the true cost of convenience, Fairphone is showing that slow, steady, and ethical can still make a real impact. And if you also want to be part of this positive change, just hit that like button and drop a comment for Fairphone. And for us, make sure to subscribe the channel, and you'll get more and more stories like this on your feed. Thank you.